Okay, we've been working together on developing a wellness recovery action plan, and we've worked together through developing a wellness toolbox. And some people who develop RAP never go further than that. They just develop the wellness toolbox. They say, there's all these great things I can do to help myself. They just start doing them, and that's the end of it. But most people go on and develop the rest of the plan, which is taking those wellness tools, thinking about making a list of what they're like when they're well, which we actually didn't do and we will do. What I'm like when I'm well, and then what do I need to do every day to stay that way, and what might I need to do on any given day. And then looking at those things that might upset us, triggers, stressors, and developing an action plan to use if those things happen. And then identifying what our early warning signs are that things are not going so well, and which are the wellness tools we're going to use then. And then we spent a lot of time on what I think is a very, very important part of the plan when things are breaking down, when things have gotten much worse, looking at what those times are like, and then identifying those tools that we could use. And so at those times, a very, very key time, and like I told you, when we first had this plan, the crisis plan seemed to be the big and the most important part of the plan. But now that people know that there's many, many ways that they can help themselves to get better, people aren't using the crisis plan nearly as much. But I think it's still important to have one. So I'm going to go through the sections of the crisis plan, go through the sections with you briefly. And the first section is a section that you can also insert at the beginning of your plan. And it's a description of what you're like when you're well. So just a quick word or two, what would describe you when you're really feeling good?
Hopeful and upbeat.
Good.
Yes, like I feel my body cells are lightened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Smiling, yes. Waking up with a good attitude.
Waking up with a good attitude.
Creative and compassionate.
Creative and compassionate. So to make a list like that, put it at the front of your whole RAP, and then put it at the beginning of your crisis plan. The crisis plan is different from the other parts of your plan. The other parts of your plan, if you don't want to, you don't have to show them to anybody. That's your personal stuff. You don't ever have to show them. If you want to share them with somebody, great, but you don't have to. Crisis plan is not going to work unless you show it to somebody else, because it's a plan that tells others what to do if you get into into real trouble, and you can no longer be responsible for yourself. So one of the first thing that I wrote in my plan, and what people determined should be in a crisis plan, is what are the signs that others need to take over? When would you want others to step in and take over? Like, in the past, there were times when people stepped in and took over for me when I didn't really need them to, I didn't really want them to, I just needed to take care of myself. So, but a sign that I would need others to take over would be that I was unconscious, that I was talking a lot in words that other people couldn't understand, if I was very dizzy and I kept falling over. What would be some signs for you that others should step in and take over?
Well, I guess if I was wandering the streets and I looked unkept, more than usual.
That's what, not wanting to take care of yourself would be a sign, I would say.
Okay. How about?
Sure, if I were in danger of hurting myself or someone else.
Okay.
It's like no contact for a long time.
No contact for a long time. You haven't been in touch with anybody for a long time. Yeah. So to make a good, clear list that you're going to be giving this plan to other people. They're going to have to look at the plan, and they're going to have to say yes. She's unkempt. She's walking the streets. Nobody knows where she is most of the time. Saying words that we don't understand. She's semi-conscious. She's falling over.
Anger.
She's
people. Yes.
Yeah,
you're intolerant of everything.
Losing housing is an imminent, not just a notice.
Because of the way
it's imminent because I haven't paid bills or things of that sort.
Okay. So that's all in your crisis plan, the signs that others need to take over. And then you're going to make a list there of who the people are that you want to take over. In the past, people have taken over for me that I didn't want to have take over. And that happens to a lot of people. So what would be who would you want to take over? And that's a personal thing, and so we don't need to make a list about that. You also need to make contact information for those people so that whoever gets this plan, you're going to give this plan to all of your supporters. You're all going to have a copy, and depending on what kind of situations you get into, you might want to take it to the local rescue squad or to the police so that they know what to do for you.
Yes.
So you can do that, but and have so they really need to know exactly when they should take over and who should take over. And you might want to have people on there that you don't want to have take over. You may have certain relatives. You might love them a lot, but you don't want them to take over. They're going to take over when you don't want them to take over. They're going to do things you don't want them to do. And their contact information, all of the medications that you're taking that you need to take, how much, when you take them. And you also want to make a list there of the medications you're allergic to and the medications you would never want to take. There may be certain medications, like you may know that you have an addiction to Oxycontin, and you may never want to take Oxycontin, but if you fell and broke your leg, they might give you Oxycontin. So that would be really bad. So you need to have a list there of things you never want to take. And it could be you just have heard about them and you don't want to take them, or it could be that you've already had experience. And then you want to say treatments that are okay, like, is massage going to work for you? Is acupuncture going to work for you? What are some treatments? What? Any other treatments?
I love your massage idea.
Yeah. So, but there might be some treatments you don't want. I mean, sometimes you go to the hospital and they'll say, would you like, we'd like to give you electroshock treatment. And you might say, no, I don't want that, or...
No, I want to put that in writing that I don't want it.
Yes, you can, yeah. Some people have it in writing. I have it in my plan in writing. My mother had it. I decided I never wanted to have that, and so it's in my plan that I don't want to have it. But other people make the choice that they do. So, and have a list of that. And then it really helps a lot. And this plan is different from other crisis plans in that, you may never want to go to a psychiatric hospital. You don't want to be in a psychiatric unit any place. You don't want to be in an addiction center. So make a plan so that you could stay at home or in the community. So that tells people exactly where you would want to be and what you would want to have happen there. So where would you want to stay? If you were having a really bad time, where would you want to be?
By the beach.
By the beach. So you'd want somebody to take you to the beach.
Definitely.
Okay.
A house, my own house.
You'd like to be in your own house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too. I'd like to be in my own house, unless I was by the beach.
Maybe you and Ron could go to the beach together.
Right.
If I weren't able to be in my own home, I'd like to be in supportive community.
Where would that be?
It might be family or friends.
So it helps to write that all down, to write down exactly where you'd want to go. Do you want to stay in your room by yourself? Do you want to be out with people? Do you want people to encourage you to do things? All of those things.
There's some places that have peer respite places for us to go to. So that would be an option.
Great.
If it was a peer one, I would want to go to one for a short time.
Yeah, the peer respite is when other people who have had similar issues have set up these places where you can go, and instead of having kind of medical or professional treatment, other people who've had similar experiences are there to support each other. And they're very well run, they're very pleasant, and in lots of areas they have them. We don't have them here. Do you have them in Washington?
No, we don't. We have respites, but they're not peer run.
Yeah.
They barely, if they do, don't have peer staff either.
I know in New Hampshire they have some, and I've been talking with a friend in Seattle, Washington, where they're developing those, and I know that they exist in other places around the country, just sort of safe houses where you can just go until you're feeling better and then go home, which is better than for a lot of people. Pardon?
Less than having to stay there.
Right,
Like
right.
when you feel like you're okay, you can leave.
Yes. Yeah, but for the time, it feels really good. You know, there's food, there's people to be with, you can be by yourself. It's a good place to be. So, so you write that into this plan, and all of this is good work that you can do in a support group. You write which hospitals you would want to be your treatment facilities, which would be okay with you, and which ones you would never want to go to. Some people have had very bad experiences. Some people have heard the reputation of places and they don't ever want to go there, but they would want to go there. And it's important to write that all down so that somebody says, oh, this is happening, I'm going to take her down to here. And that may be a place where you've been before and you never want to go there again.
Right.
So really important. What are things that other people can do that would help you during this time?
Clean my house and make sure everything is orderly, so I don't feel clutter and stuff around.
Great.
Could invite me to go on a walk or a hike, or spend time hearing what's going on.
Cook dinner for you, watch a movie.
Cook dinner and watch a movie? Great. Great.
Yes, like preparing for dinners or something to eat.
Yeah.
That would be really great, helpful.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So have a whole list of things that people could do that would help. What would you not want people to do? And you need a list of those things. Do not, and what would it be?
Not listen to what I'm saying.
Don't not listen to what
You
I'm
know,
saying.
just to be
Yeah.
supportive and not judgmental. And
Judgmental is a very good word.
That's a good one, yes.
Not, yeah.
Right. Don't discount my subjective experience.
Don't discount my suggestive experience. Yes, that's really important. Don't discount what I'm telling you.
what you already know.
Right.
Yeah, I already know what's going on with me. Don't discount that.
Right. Don't tell me what to do,
Right.
Yes, don't tell me what to do.
or give me unsolicited advice.
Don't give me unsolicited advice.
Don't try to force me into involuntary types of treatment.
Don't try and force me into involuntary types of treatment.
Like you say, the electroshock,
Right. Don't try and force me into electroshock.
which is something you need to write down before you.
Right.
Well, just be friendly. I mean, bring a good energy.
Bring a good energy.
Yes, if you're upset or angry, just to leave those things outside and bring just a good energy for a short time when they or he or she is with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then you want a section at the end of this whole plan, and this is quite a project. You can't do this quickly. And if somebody says to you, we're going to work this afternoon and finish your whole crisis plan, it sometimes can take weeks or months to write all the things that are in the crisis plan. And you'll see in the back of the book there's a whole form for this. So it can take quite a while. But you want to have a good list at the end that says signs that the crisis has passed. So if the crisis is over, so that those people won't keep thinking they have to take care of you when you're cooking your own meals, you're taking care of yourself. What are some signs for you that your crisis would be over?
Sleeping, getting at least 6 hours of sleep every night for 5 days. That would show that I'm okay.
Yeah. What else?
Like I can move my body easily, kind of feel light. That
You're doing your tasks.
Yeah, task
doing your
and
tasks.
just regular things. That's
Taking care of things.
yes.
I mean, just, you're going on with normal behavior, but taking out the garbage, I washed the dishes, I cleaned the toilet.
Right.
You're not you don't feel like everything's constricted, so you're doing stuff.
Right.
People can see you
Yeah.
interacting with the world or not, if you want to be, depends on how social a person you are.
I think if I believed that I'd moved through the crisis and was able to have the activities of wellness, if I were able to do those daily activities that I'd written up before.
Smiling.
Might be a good one. Yeah. Do you have anything more you want to say about that, Yvonne?
No, I think so.
Okay. All right. So that's the crisis plan. So you make it out, you put a date on it for sure, and then you give it to the people who you've named, your supporters. And then if you want to change it, you put a new date on it and make the changes so that they won't go back to the old things. I did a lot of this work on my computer so that it's all there so I can easily change it and I can easily make copies. So these days that's pretty easy to do. And then the last part of the plan is something that you do later, actually. It's a post-crisis plan. And the idea being that you've gone through, you've got your whole plan developed and you've actually gotten into a crisis. And so most of the time, hardly ever happens. So you get into the crisis and then you start getting better. How are you going to keep working toward getting yourself better? And the post-crisis plan is just a list of questions that you go through, like who do I want, and you'll answer those questions as you're starting to get better. So you can't really answer them at any other time. You can look them over, you can review them. We can't do them here today because we don't know what that situation is going to look like. So who do I want to support me through this time is one of those questions. How will I know if I'm starting to get worse again? What wellness tools will I use if I'm starting to get worse? Who, if I have to be in a facility somewhere, who would I want to take me home? Who would I not want to have take me home? Who would I not want to stay with me when I got home? Would it help a lot if somebody had groceries all there when you got home? Those kinds of things are in the post-crisis plan.
Very important.
It's very important, but not something we have to spend a lot of time on right now. The key pieces of the whole plan that you really need to focus on are the beginning. So I want to just wrap that up for us by just doing a little review of the whole plan. So we've got the first part of the plan is we're going to be developing a wellness toolbox and figuring out all those things that we have used to, that can use. Just everybody want to give an example of one of the wellness tools?
My bike ride.
Your bike riding,
Taking a shower.
Meditation, spending time in nature.
Yep.
Yeah, like listen to birds singing.
Yep.
Yes.
And then, so that's the first part, developing the wellness tools, and you're going to use those wellness tools all over. Then you're going to include in there a list of what you're like when you're well, and then which of those wellness tools you have to use every single day. Which tools do you have to use every single day to keep yourself as well as possible? And what are the things you might need? What are the tools you might need to use on any given day?
Okay.
Like get an appointment with the doctor. Then you've got the next section is identifying stressors and triggers. What's a stressor or a trigger that you each have?
Death of a family member or a close friend.
Yep.
Yes.
Unexpected big medical bills.
Like I said, like losing woods.
Yeah.
Anything unexpected, a huge change in your life.
Huge change in your life. And then coming up, which of the wellness tools you're going to choose to use at that time. And then identifying the early warning signs. What are some examples of some early warning signs?
Like risky behavior, not paying attention for traffic, or putting myself in a position where I might get hurt.
Yep.
Maybe being very forgetful and not taking care of my bodily needs.
Yep.
Body shaking.
Body shaking.
Yes.
I like shaking knees. That you talked about.
Knees especially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, substance abuse.
Substance abuse. Substance abuse.
You know, the nervousness that you're saying.
Yeah. And then we come up with which of the wellness tools are we going to use if those things come up. And what are some wellness tools? What would you use?
For the death of a friend, I think funerals and memorial services are for the living.
Yeah.
So that's how we take care of that, like helping with obituary or other ritualistic things that you might do in your family.
For the early warning signs? That would be for the triggers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this for early warning signs.
For early warning signs, you mean like for my risky behavior?
Yeah.
Well, that would be maybe not to go out as much because I know I might be vulnerable.
Yeah, good.
Reducing stress and starting a new positive habit.
Good.
Like for me, tapping or like qigong.
Oh, great.
Yes. Qigong. Yes.
All right.
Exercising, just being in the world and saying hi to someone.
Yeah.
Opening the door.
Good.
Interacting with humans.
Good. And then we've got when things are breaking down, and we talked about that one really, really, really a lot. Just give one quick example. That's the review.
Getting a notice about losing housing.
Really dropping the ball on a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, losing health insurance.
Yep. Yes.
Something that happens with your family that's not kosher. It's not, mostly now I would think about my son and how his life is going that day.
Yeah.
Because we do take it one day at a time.
Yep. So what's one quick thing that you do when things are really bad?
Go give him a hug.
Good. Okay.
Going outside and talk to people and get hugged.
Good.
Yes.
Watching a comedy like
Terrific.
Writing in my journal.
Good. So we've got a crisis plan after that, and then we've got the post-crisis plan, and then so we take all of this, and the key thing for me, when I went home and developed my first plan and how I've used it over the years, the key thing is how do you integrate something like this into your life? It's one thing to go to these group meetings or to use one of the books or to use one of the tapes or to go to a training even and learn all about rap, but it's another thing to really live it. And so when I first developed mine, I had it all in a book. I had a notebook. We didn't have those workbooks then because it was new, but I had a notebook and I checked it over every single morning when I got up. I had it at the table and I went over it until it was sort of like embedded in my brain. But then I found that I kept changing it over time because as I got better and better and more used to using it and just kind of smarter about it, I changed it. And so I had to keep upgrading it. So I had to keep checking it over. And more recently, I don't have to check it so much. But so when things come up, it's just sort of become second nature to me. And I think that's what's living rap. You're sort of building all these wellness tools into your life. You're sort of thinking in this term, well, today I think I've really got early warning signs, so these are the things I really need to do. And maybe it's because yesterday I didn't do my daily maintenance plan. You really get to know it well over time.
Yes.
So everybody lives it. So anybody got anything to say about you kind of have been living rap for quite a long time?
Yes. Well, it's a way of life. It's not just lists. It's a way of looking at things. I'm not responsible for any illness or bad things that happen to me, but I am responsible for the wellness in my life, and rap helps me do that.
Great, good.
It's beautiful. Taking personal responsibility, I think, really makes a difference, and keeping hope in a bright place.
Good.
Well, in order to live my life happily, fully, the rap is guidance, and the rap is knowing who I am. Because, we have to make a list, and so making list means I have to think about myself and how I feel. And so this, rap really helped me to think or feel deeply in knowing myself.
Good.
And so that was really good thing.
Good.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Good.
I would say the same thing, that, you know, getting to know your, you know, making those lists, doing what you're, you know, telling yourself how you feel, but also going out and saying hi to someone, you know, just to know that you're in the world together. And, you know, that you're worth something.
Good. Yeah. I think that's a really good point to end on, to know that you're worth something, that we're all worth doing this kind of work and going forward. We're all
Well
worth-
said.
Yes.
Well said.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this has been great. It's been great working with you on this. And I really, it's been a real pleasure for me to be here with you doing this together. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mary
Mary
Ellen.
Ellen.
Yes.